Okay, so anyways, this is part two. Okay, or of what is we talking about? So again, like I said, it's not twisting the story if this is what the words actually mean, right? And we can see that it may be meaning that. So we're just looking at the meanings and we're just seeing where this fits in this time, right? Because this is just the history of the word etymology, right? So again, something strange has been going on. Again, these things have been going on with me. I can see them and right. So we're just going to talk about it. Okay, so we're reading between the headlines. Okay. All right. Mindful of those reports, Pentagon response to claims Taliban is beating Americans. Okay. That sounds like a reading that somebody did earlier. So my thing is, like I said, with the weapons or whatever that they're saying that these people would be having in possession. So we're just going to listen to this clip real quick, and then we're going to read between it, okay?
How long does it take to get to the airport? Oh, it's 30 minutes. Everything's great. The Taliban does not show up on Waze or the GPS. It is amazing how bad he has screwed this up when you consider that this was a popular decision. Think about that. Let's say 75%, I think, of the population wanted to get out. So 75% of the population could have made this decision. All you had to do was get the exit right, and you ended the longest war ever. You would be a hero. But poor Joe couldn't do it. Instead, he pretends the argument is over the decision to pull out, not the horrible conduct associated with the pullout. So what you end up learning is that beyond the decision, he brought nothing, absolutely nothing to the table. That's frightening. We knew that. This is when I smeared when I slammed the media. They enabled and protected him, as well as his snotty, elitist, untested Ivy League candy asses he's surrounded.
Now, not to mention that we did use footage from this particular station when I was slamming what they were saying, right? Not too long ago. Matter of fact, I might just have to put it back up. Okay.
But most important, they buried the laptop story so this guy could get in. So Taliban should be thanking Jeff Zucker, Jeff Bezos, The View, everybody else who wanted that story uncovered. Uncovered is a good story. Or is it covered? Never mind. The whole thing is weird. The whole thing is weird because no one answers the one big question. We all know what it is. Why the Taliban? Why the Taliban?
Okay, so it is weird. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at Taliban. Okay, so again, a movement that started in Afghanistan. Okay. Students, so-called because it originated among students in Pakistan religious school, a group formed, often incorrectly treated as singular in English, a fundamental Islamic militia. Okay. So I don't know. I'm just looking at it again as how we talk about like domestic terrorism, those who speak against certain things or whatever, on a blacklisted or whatever as a terrorist group or threat, right? So I'm just looking at that and just correlating how close it, like if we're just saying Taliban, that's just a movement that is looked at as a militia or maybe even a threat in this instance. So again, some of us, again, that go against the grain can also be kind of looked at it like a terrorist group or whatnot. So that's associated basically with the Taliban. That's what people think about unfortunately, that's what they think about when they hear the term. Okay, so let's keep going.
By them. There was no other alternative over 20 years while we were there. Clearly, this is the only choice. So they just were like, hey, we're the only choice. We're just going to wait you guys out. Isn't it almost comical that a country this beloved and this desired...
So again, the whole thing about waiting people out, right? So again, like I told you guys, we've been on this journey for a couple of months. If you've been watching, about this whole something feeling as if it's pulling me, pushing me, luring me away from where I am, right? From home, in a sense, for whatever reason. Like I said, this whole thing has been a spiritual journey. It's been very mind blowing and eye opening, right? All eyes. But let's keep going, okay?
Just handed over the country to 70,000 mountain hillbillies with cell phones. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Since the 90s, we made no progress. No progress in creating an alternative to the Taliban. It's mind-boggling. And then Obama lets their leader out, so now he's in charge. I don't know, man. It's what we witnessed was a controlled surrender to 70,000 people. We killed more than 70,000 people with ISIS.
That's right. And they have more than cell phones now, Dagan. They have Humvees, they have drones, they have Blackhawks, they have night vision goggles, they have billions in U.S. military.
Right, I was going to go through, I have it on my phone, the list of the flood of weapons that has fallen into the Taliban's hands. Greg, before I move on, the progress has been our counterterrorism operation. Combat operations ended in 2014, and the counterterrorism is denying a haven to Al-Qaeda. And not only have we not had a...
Okay, denying haven to Al-Qaeda. So let's look at Al-Qaeda. And I always don't know how... Oh, well, here it is right here. I think this is how you spell it. Okay. A terrorist network intensely opposed to the United States, okay, that dispenses money and logistics support and training to a wide variety of radical Islam. So let's just not even use Islam. Let's think of Islam as being... we can look it up really quick after this. But we can look at it as being, let's switch that with indigenous. Okay? Because I think that, what is it? Afghanistan, I think, has something to do with like origins or something. Has cells in more than 50 countries. Okay. So again, the cells, I don't know, could be representing many things. They can be representing many things, but let's just look at that. How on this journey, how I've been saying that it feels as though, like, again, when it comes to the indigenous community, again, being a big part of it for the past 10 years at least, that at some point in time, like I said, it just seems like it took a turn. And again, information from my platforms, again, I feel has been utilized in some of this, and nobody has given any kind of anything towards it, right? So like that energy where they may be in it too, but I know that some of the information that they use, because I caught them doing it, they're using actual words that I've made up and things like this in their content. So again, it's a thing of just the content, or just being the one that brought forth that information about us being in a certain position of slavery in the caste system, right? All right. So again, nations are being built, people are getting together, and again, it's just official to me, right? That the whole thing has gone into the hands of people that came in a little bit later, or people that were already there. But like I said from the beginning, people that already had these particular things, training, right? That's what you do when you create idols, right? So again, they would have the training, they would have the money, they would have the support, they would have the logistical part. Okay. So again, this has been put in place, like I said. And again, it's seeming as these people have just come up with this on their own, but I think that they've had help from, again, government and sources, again, because I talk about everything on this channel. I turned over a lot of different things on this channel, not just the indigenous thing, but going into the political arena, historical things, going into, like I said, the caste structure and things like that. Okay. So again, right. So again, so that's just funny how, like I said, biblically, historically, and what we're talking about in my actual journey, right, of feeling that way and feeling isolated, and as if people have taken even the information that has been, I'll just say that has been ciphered, right, personal information, tapping of phones, tapping of information, I feel has been used and put on platforms in order to, again, make people look some kind of way, including me. Right? To help and assist in, like I said, turning away from, again, the capital. That's just it. that's just how I look. And symbolically, the capital is the actual real air that is supposed to be a ruling class, right? That they would like to act as though that person is not, and is treating, again, me as if I'm not, right? Because I didn't do it the way that they did it. I did it my own way, and I'm standing my ground, and I know who I am, and they know who I am, and they know what it is, and I know what it is. Okay, so let's keep on going.
Terror attack on U.S. soil. We also hadn't had a casualty.
So she said they hadn't had a terrorist attack on U.S. soil or a casualty
in Afghanistan for about a year and a half. And to quote Jennifer Griffin, the incomparable Jennifer Griffin, she said, we were in Afghanistan to stop partners.
Okay, so I'm just also looking at the little headlines that are running across the screen. And this one says, we will get you home. Biden vows to evacuate Americans in Afghanistan. So again, just even thinking about getting you home is making me think about, just like I said, Israel. And whenever I think about Israel, Enoch, the Book of Mormon, I always think about the west end of the northwest portion of the Americas, Utah and Judah, Utah. I think about that in that area, whatever. So when I'm seeing, or when I'm, I don't even know, I can't call it, okay, so again, and just looking at 50 countries, knowing that, again, at some point in time, were these states actual countries here in the Americas at some point in time, or looked at as, right? So let's keep going. So what she's going to say next?
To stop terrorism from brewing, from growing, and our partners have now been abandoned. They're in hiding. They've disappeared. We don't have eyes and ears on the ground.
It's what?
Right. I was going to go through. I have it on my phone. The list of the flood of weapons that has fallen into the Taliban's hands. Greg, before I move on, the progress has been our counterterrorism operation. Combat operations ended in 2014, and the counterterrorism is denying a haven to al-Qaeda. And not only have we not had a major terror attack on U.S. soil, we also hadn't had a casualty in Afghanistan for about a year and a half. And to quote Jennifer Griffin, the incomparable Jennifer Griffin, she said, we were in Afghanistan to stop partners, to stop terrorism from brewing.
Okay, so the fact that she said to stop, they were in Afghanistan to stop groups from forming, okay, in a sense, right? So again, and that's what I'm just trying to think. That's what I'm trying to think. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes me think about just the blockage. Like I said, there's two big towers here, like one south and one north. Right, and like I said, I see the drones at night and stuff like that flying over, or I've seen them. I don't know. It just makes me think, like I said, when it comes to like your mind or whatever, or just blocking from telepathic energy, just feeling like you have been kind of like transmuted or turned off, right? While again, around me, being that island or whatever, in that island energy, it feels like I said, so much other stuff is going on around me, right? When it comes to the community, when it comes to building, and again, and like I said, reaching out, and then people not wanting to build, right? It's just something that I'm just pondering on, right? I'm just, like, because what if symbolically we are talking about people, right? Because I see the movement also going on around with, again, soul siblings, with, again, other people that I feel connections with, telepathically. And again, like I said, it feels like all the time people can see in on me, but for some reason I can't see out, right? So again, right now, I think I remember having a conversation, because sometimes we go into those deep kind of conversations around here, and saying like, we'll be in a situation one day where there'll be chaos or something going on around the country, and you wouldn't even know, because all they have to do is turn off cell towers or alter things, you know what I'm saying? And only certain things can come in your direction, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of just like that type of energy, like I said, that I felt is going was going on. And I think as soon as they got to a certain point, then it was okay to kind of like make sure that like the information coming from here would be even more oppressed or suppressed. But again, they were there to keep from building, right? So again, now I see, now I'm waking up. Like I said, all of this stuff sometimes feels like hindsight, like it already happened a long time ago, and I'm just now getting wind of it, right? Because for some reason, again, probably because of how I might feel about it, right? Or what the response would be, right? It has to be going on underway, under my nose, or out of the way of my radar, okay? Right? In fear of what I might say to try to step in, right? If I was finding out that something like this, even though spiritually I already know that something is going on in this sense. So let's keep going.
Growing, and our partners have now been abandoned. They're in hiding. They've disappeared. We don't have eyes and ears.
So again, stopping from growing. So again, that is me, right? That's me. I feel in a sense symbolic to what's going on with me. Oppressing things, my money flow, like I said, my different platforms being oppressed and suppressed. Just even the reign, right? When we're talking about the reigning, the mind games and the different distractions again that have been brought in, right? While other things are, like I said, going on. So it looks as if I'm not trying to build, but actually it's been an attack on the Capitol. You see what I'm saying? So again, feeling like symbolically or spiritually looking at the images of that insurrection and the men climbing over the walls to get to something, right? So again, if we're talking about the choice is pearls, and if we're talking about valued, members or bodies that were in, when we're talking about in the biblical text, to let someone invade that, even when we're talking about Hathor being that information source of all, you see what I'm saying? Like the strongest when it comes to mental capacity, being that eye, right? The eye of Ra, right? So again, being at home, birthing or whatnot. And again, the movement and everything else is going on. The accolades for everything is going on with other individuals, right? That are building up things. And again, when I turn around, you'll be too late to be even able to step up, right? To even make a cry out. And again, they have that whole thing about mental illness or whatever, when this is just a pure gift that I have. Like, again, people have seen it. You know what I'm saying? So again, spiritual or soul siblings, I know, have witnessed certain things. And I feel like some of those people are the ones that are, again, benefiting from this at this moment. The build, right? It's a very isolating feeling, right? And I do feel like there's an extension out. Someone is trying to, again, extend a hand out, but knowingly it is just another distraction because it's so hard to comprehend what's going on. What do you want? I've looked at myself as an empress. I'm not going out searching for, what I'm saying? I don't like that luring feeling. If there's something that somebody wants me to do, why not just come to me? You see what I'm saying? Why do I feel like I'm being pulled or gravitated towards, right? Even my mental. Pulled on or emptied out, or people digging or mining the mind, right? So I don't know. That's just a situation I feel.
On the ground, and this, we're going to talk about it later, this over the horizon capability.
And on the ground and over the horizon. Like I said, I feel like that's representing groups that have been planted within this neighborhood and other places, right? That have been surveilling, right? And watching, okay? And so now, it just sounds like it to me.
It's laughable. I will go into it in the next block, but we're going to be flying drones that by the time they get to Afghanistan from the Persian Gulf have very little time to actually do any work. But I keep hearing this word humiliating, that this has been a
work, okay? Humiliating. And I have been feeling like a sense of people thinking just because I took my content down that means a defeat or I made a mistake somewhere. No, it's to protect my information because I know that people are using it. And I'm pretty sure, again, they have a lot of it already stored up in some kind of something. But at the same time, like I said, I just chose to take it down because of that. Because I'm tired of being used in that sense. And it's just that, like I said, that whole feeling, of it's kind of like correlates or symbolic to like the body shaming, because I feel like within the community, just having an ear in, right, even when it comes to other seers and readers, about this whole thing about people's weight and all these things like this, right, or personal things that people would know. And I just feel like, I don't know. So the humiliating part, at one point in time, knowing that had been surveilled, but not to what degree, it was a humiliating feeling. And I think that those that may have been in part don't even want to kind of address or apologize or speak on the part that had been played. You know what I'm saying? I'm just supposed to just disappear, and it just doesn't even matter what has been done. You know what I'm saying? I really just feel like that.
Humiliating week? No. Not for Americans, not for our service members, those who served and sacrificed, those who are there, those who are going into Afghanistan now. It is infuriating and frightening. Every American listening to this garbage from this garbage president has every right to be pissed off. The only humiliating thing is the only humiliation is on Joe Biden and the people who work for Joe Biden in the White House, in his administration. Fellow Democrats should be humiliated. And of course, to your point, all the media grifters and the hucksters and the swindlers who sold this broken bobblehead to the American people. Not only is...
Okay, so this broken bobblehead. So again, I think, right? Okay. So again, I'll put the video back up of me going at this station probably like a week or two ago. Okay. And like I said, this whole thing, right? I think people think that they know the situation and they don't. Like I said, all of this thing, I know what's going on. I can see it, right? Pieces of it. But I think what is trying to make it seem as a failure when, again, everything was going on around me with other individuals, not bringing me to the table. I have not been brought to the table. Again, I don't have a seat there, right? People are taking from my information, taking from me, but at the same time, no one's giving any kind of respect or showing anything on my name. And again, like I said, the whole thing is going on around me. I don't have an ear in. I don't know what the steps are right now as this whole takeover, because I think the takeover is basically just talking about other indigenous groups that are sharing a purse or sharing a bag that have chose to take over, right? And I said some of this has to do with that pirating energy of people pirating or taking, because they have a foot into certain information, right? And they feel as that you're not going to go into that information or you don't know about it, right? Because there's other things going on here on deeper levels. Right? There's land, there's other heirs and stuff that may be under attack. It's not just me. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so people have access to this information, right? So that makes some people a target, because again, say your ancestors have land, right? If someone runs across that, you may be the next on the list when it comes to a target. I can't think of anything else, because I see what's going on, but at the same time, not including that capital member or that person that even helped bring forth this movement, it's just ridiculous to me. I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. And if people are trying to help me or assist me, you can't be doing that if you're not telling me what's going on. So you're going to make me look crazy. You see what I'm saying? Because now I have to spend all my time defending something, so it seems narcissistic, or defending this and that. I keep, we're expressing these things. We're saying these things. And nothing changes. I know that certain people know. Including possibly the president. Just like they said, there's no way that he don't know some of this stuff that's going on the other depths if he's the president. Right? So it just almost just feels like I said, an attack. So again, I'm just thinking, who are the real terrorists here? Who are the real terrorists? It's a mental attack. It's on many different levels. Like I said, because I was never supposed to be able to see this, but Source, again, and the ancestors and guides have stepped in and shown me so much through visions, dreams, readings. It's just, now we see what it is. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows what it is. with the abilities. They can try to make it seem like it's mental illness or bipolar or whatever they want to, but everybody see what the real is. Nobody's never seen it being done, and it's done. And so it would look like an embarrassment and all this stuff if people thought that they were here and they were helping and they were in contact with me. But no, it was more surveilling. There was no information exchange, only information taken, right? Or ciphered, right? So now, again, we're going to have these individuals, right, that already don't like you, already jealous, is already feeling some kind of way about you, that are going to then have an upper hand in this situation. Right? To come around and make it feel as though you're included, again, when it comes to a divine masculine or some kind of companion or helper when it comes to understanding what I'm supposed to be doing to build. No, none of that. None of that. And the thing is, I know that I'm supposed to be playing a powerful part in whatever movement is going on. But because I have different views and opinions, and because I've been isolated, and because people look at me as a joke, because they've been, again, exploiting me behind the scenes, right? Possibly or allegedly, right? Then where does that leave me?
He's a liar, but maybe he's delusional, he's inept, and he's a cipher.
See? Now, I know we're talking about Biden, but again, like I said, I'm just saying that these are the same feelings or things that I feel that people are portraying or projecting in my direction. So again, duality or, going along with that, I feel like it's a sign for me. It's just a sign for me.
And he's our commander in chief, and that's why we're suffering through this right now.
Richard, listen.
Okay, so again, let's look at this as above. Hold on one second. Let's look at this as above and so below, right? Okay, so say that Biden is the head, right? Acting as the head right now in that office, right? But again, like I told you, when they're acting as heads, there's a way of tapping into people's energy, right? So again, who are the real people that hold the power? Who are the real ones? Is usually the ones that are oppressed and suppressed at the bottom that can't actually make their way to the top. And I'm going to be honest, and I'll just be honest. At one point in time, I think that there was a doorway where it would have went smoothly. But something happened. A shift happened, and then things started to fall or collapse, right? Or people got tired of, putting on. And again, I have to say, right, when it comes to the ancestors and guides, that work was being put in to show me certain things. It just wasn't the things that I needed to know to learn and grow. It wasn't the thing. So if these people in the media are thinking that that's what was going on here, and it wasn't just distractions and also divine masculine energy of attraction, you know what I'm saying, towards, finally somebody can, like Adam in the garden, finally somebody can understand me, dealing with, like I said, telepathic energy in that light or in that way. Right? But the whole time, like I said, it was never about like building, right? And I'm thinking, I know a movement is going on. I know Source is working through a lot of us, to get to a point where we can know who we are and where we need to go. But again, at some point in time, I feel like that stopped for me because of, like I said, the distractions. And I think what's going on is they're keeping an eye over here to make sure that I'm still stagnant or I don't know where to go or what to do, right? While they're building up other people and placing them in these positions. And that's what bothers me. So we're not even talking about the nothing anymore or the antidote that much anymore. We're basically just only talking about this as if it's happening over here. I'm not saying that if there were people stuck over there that nobody should care, but I'm saying, come on, at this caliber, in this account, we're talking about something else. We're talking about something else symbolically. And I'm going to just tell you that because, again, the connection that I have with the other realm. We're talking about something else.
I'm humiliated, but I'm not humiliated just at Joe. I'm humiliated at every president that got us to this particular point. It started with George Bush and this mission to go get Osama bin Laden. That's how we started in Afghanistan. Then it turned into...
Okay. So again, my whole thing was the fact that the woman here was saying that they were in there to stop it from growing and stop things from coming. So again, symbolically, like I said, that's the same energy and frequency that I'm getting as to why I feel like I was infiltrated or the insurrection occurred on me and my household and my information. Okay? That is just what it is. It's just what it is. So what you do, you take, I don't know why I was just thinking man should not live on the bread alone, but every word that comes out of the mouth of God. So again, if they know that there's an energy of a God, right, a living God here visiting or using us, any of us, whatever, as vassals, if you really believe even the religious aspect, right, to deliver messages or do certain things. What you would do was make sure you isolate the vassal or the capital that will be the head grounds of God, and you would go ahead and create the image that you want and place that image in front of the people first. Well put together in front of the people first. And then what you would do would also on the other end, you would put a humiliating, or you would try to sabotage or crucify the original person that's supposed to be in that place in order to keep them from. And even if you do stand up and stand your ground, they've already infiltrated and showed everything that is in your storehouse, as if we're in Revelations, right? So they've already showed everybody everything in your storehouse and taken everything out that they needed, and they'll just leave you there abandoned out of your position as the commander in chief, which would be the original commander in chief of the capital or of that particular in that particular position. And it took years and years and years because they already knew who we are. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, right? So again, they already knew. So they looked at already all of us capitals, right? And especially the main head capital, right? So they were already looking at us in a sense to know who, where, and what. And they had already put certain plants in the community so that when it came time, it would just be an overrun. It would just be an overthrow, low-key overthrow. And the people's champ, right, would be the one, again, that they polished up and made pretty and propped up in front of you. Not the one that went into the mud and dug the shit out and brought it to you. Not the one that sat there for all those years and did things that many other people would be afraid to do. And they still don't get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about that kind of shit on their platforms. They don't. And they look at you and admire, but are astonished and annoyed that you can sit there and say these things. And while they're out there in the trenches and they're doing the footwork, they look at, because we're doing the work with the mental, that we're lazy and we don't have nothing to do with it. And you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be having to do this. And why aren't they having to come out here and do this kind of work with us? Well, hey, when I did reach out to some of these certain people, they didn't want nothing to do with it. They didn't want nothing to do with it. And that's right before any of this happened. That's when I knew something was funny. Especially with the resemblance. And y'all can sit here and act like you don't know who I'm talking about if you in the indigenous community, if you want to. So while I'm doing the book work, they might be doing the work behind the scenes when it comes to paperwork and law, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. She know who I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is, regardless if you look at me as being incompetent in that particular area, what you do if you care about your people and you want to see them succeed, you reach your hand back and you work together. You don't start things behind the scenes. And I'm not talking about that I know for a fact, right, that have to do with certain individuals. But I'm saying they know of it, right? They know of it. And they've had access to that particular information, my personal information, because they'll sit there and run their mouth about things about me, and they know more about the shit than I do. You understand what I'm saying? Even slipped up and said a surname of mine in one of their videos. I don't know if it was a slip up. It was probably not. Because, you know what I'm saying? It was one of them things where you knew you wanted me to. You see what I'm saying? Because Source took me there. I don't even go there. But Source took me there that day. At that particular point, and click that part of the video to hear that part. Because Source is showing. Right? So at the end of the day, it's just been a circus. And just like how it feels this whole thing with this thing is. And like I said, symbolically or allegorically or parably, speaking in parables, what are we really talking about here? And I feel that at some point in time, somebody got pissed and they're thinking, hey, she don't want to do it this way or whatever, so this is what we're going to do. And I think that, yes, I think that certain people in top positions let this particular thing happen. And what I think it really boils down to is throwing away America and letting other countries get their hands on the capital and the information and mine the mind of the capital. An overthrow. Because they already have what they need. They already have other faces that they can place in the positions. Rather, that's just a movement with us, like I said. Even if we're not officially talking about somebody actually going and sitting in the White House. You see what I'm saying? It would just be, like I said, they would have positions in the heavens, which is just an elevated status. They would have positions in the heavens. And that's further, the reason why I'm stressing on it is that's a further way for people attack and abuse, and also send a royal down to the dirt so that people can, like I said, run it down. And let's think about that kind of weaponry that they have, right? The type of, the millions of dollars worth of information that, again, if people are moving, if they gave up the U.S., right, which is a corporation, walked out, right, and left that information, not to America, but to these groups, right? And these groups already despise and don't want you around, then that would give way for those groups to come in and infiltrate and slaughter or slew, again, whether we're talking about through legalities, right, or in other manners or other ways. And it won't even be talked about. Nobody will know about it. Even if it's out of a position or a job or a title. Because I feel like that's what it was. So again, if they were here, the energy that was coming into me through the field, right, was hang tight. You know what I'm saying? We know, right? But right now we are working on just hanging tight and being amused, right? And maybe even used for information and things like that. And at the end of the day, I'm looking around and I can feel the sense of certain energies moving away, or maybe giving one last stitch effort, but it's not a real effort because it's not nothing tangible. You see what I'm saying? That's like giving a 5-year-old a jigsaw puzzle and expecting them to be able to put it together all by themselves with 1,000 pieces. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not right. And I think that's what, if I can add it up to it, that's what it would be. Not saying that it's impossible for the 5-year-old, but I'm saying that's what it's like. And just sitting them on the floor and saying, hey, until you put this together. But the whole time, right, it's a competition, and there's a 12-year-old over here or a 30-year-old woman over here that's been doing jigsaw puzzles already, that was built for this, that is basically going to win the competition already anyway. So is that even a fair fight, right? But because this child is even in the thing, people are going to be looking at like, oh, this must be some kind of genius or whatever. I've never seen a 5-year-old doing this, but they wouldn't have put him in a competition if he didn't know how to do puzzles. You see what I'm saying? Let's just put it like that. Let's just put it like that. Let's see. Let's see about Islamic. Let's see. So again, and so I don't run my mouth and squeal or come talking about different things, then, you know, why wouldn't people just already tell me what was going on? Why can't I know? Why it seems like I see the movement and I see everybody else doing these things and I feel like they're thinking like, we straight over here, haha, look at you. Yeah, you're not even an indigenous anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, because I feel like that's been the whole plan the whole time. When in my eyes, it's the true authority, right? And yes, bloodlines of the sea and the earth here, just like a lot of other people do too, okay? Very powerful bloodlines and royal bloodlines though at that. So again, it feels like that type of energy. I'll just say that. And again, any of you that are in the dimensions, you already know what I'm talking about when we're talking about, think about how it was back then with the colonization, right? And then think about, again, this virtual world, this 3D, 5D world that we live in right now, and how, again, a lot of things could be going on around you that you're not even aware of that have to do with mining or taking from vassals on this plane right now that you wouldn't even be aware, right? And since some of us know those things or can see those things, maybe that's why they don't want you there, because you can see. Yeah, so I was going to go deep on the Vak Sin Nation, right? Ugh. But, and what I found out about seeing and the Delta, but we won't do that today. I don't think so. So yeah, that's all I have to say. So again, take it as, let's just say that this is so-called for entertainment purposes only, fair use. Again, I'm just speaking. I'm just talking. We're just talking in parables. We talking allegorical, symbolically. We're talking about the motions. We're talking about the frequency and the currency of things. As to what we know, what they portray on one end is what you're perceiving is one thing, but what it is always something else. And that's what we specialized in on this channel for a long time. And everybody's just laughing and moving on. And people that might have been offended by the truth spoken on this channel from my mouth are happy that it didn't go that way. But there are some people that may have been wishing that it would have went another way. But they probably are looking like they don't understand either. Why is this person not doing something? But I'm telling you, what I'm telling you is that I have no idea. I see what's going on, but I don't know what the steps are, because there was nobody here building with me whatsoever when it comes to that type of information. Anybody that I reached out to did not want to help. That's what it is. Because again, it was never supposed to be help. I was the brains, right? For some people, not all. I'm not saying that people don't have their own content, their own information, their own minds, because I know that there's a lot of us that have been placed here for this, right? But I'm talking about certain individuals, and they know who they are. They know exactly who they are, right? Some in the heavens and some from the earth, right? As above, so below. Because it's going to be the joining of those two forces that are going to move forward here. And so it's an energy there that makes it want to feel like it's foreign. But again, like I said, it just made me think about Moses and the Pharaoh, and him saying, let my people go and pardon the Red Sea, which makes me think about redskins. And then the whole thing about the North to give them up, and for the South, don't hold back. So again, that give them up makes me think about, again, like I said, the Midwest and these particular types of areas, to give them up, and then to the South, don't hold back. So now the South would represent the Taliban coming north in order to infiltrate that part of the garden and overrun it. And it's just like, yeah. The only thing that's been done here is blocking me from being able to see what necessary steps, except for one. And I'm just wondering, like, is that the one, right? And then I say, well, hey, if that's the case, then why do we even have that? Why are we still dealing with the caste system? See, then we would have to admit that we're still dealing with the caste system, and some people are still so-called enslaved with status. We'll have to look at the fact that the barrier is not really broken. It's just perceived to be broken. And that everybody is not on a common level, that, you know what I'm saying, that the people are still enslaved. In which that would mean let them go. Even the playing field. That's what we've been working for. But I think the infrastructure put it back into place. That's what I feel. I feel like it had already been, but the infrastructure in some positions put it back in place and made sure when we came to voting rights that it would stop certain of us from being able to be participating in that area, because of that. To try to use status or some silly thing like that to stop people from doing what they're supposed to be doing. What is their birthright to do? To be free. That's the birthright. That's your birthright. No. Hold on one second. So, my baby talking to me, so I'm going to have to get off of here. But again, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. Again, y'all can take it if you could leave it. Again, this is just the way I see it. And when I say I am that I feel like that's what it is. EYE. I am. When it comes to that, if we're in this energy right now, I'm in that energy of Hathor. But again, if your right eye be like this, then pluck it out, right? And the whole thing of making it seem as though I'm hard to work with or nobody want to work with me because I'm difficult. No, it's just I've been blocked. So if I ain't been showing no love, and if you've been coming around telepathically or again with some type of connection, I don't see it. I've only seen 2. That's it. I'm not aware, right? Because I feel like that's the walls or the blockage that's been put up is walls and blockages in the mind. So that you're not aware that things are happening in the celestial realm, in 5D, or other dimensions, or even in your sleep. Okay? So that's the case. And it's easier for, again, them to put them certain people in positions. So I'm going to go ahead and go. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe if you'd like. Join us in the Facebook group American Aborigines Unchained for more information like this or alternative information past, present, and future. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.